So, defining moments during the parts of our lives really are some of the most precious points in time. It's in these rare moments we learn things about ourselves that might otherwise, on a normal day, pass us by. They are, for everyone, the points in time where we're truly able to reflect on the things that we do and why we do them, and are able to judge the choices that we make as individuals. Now, I'd like to share with you today 2 of my defining moments, and I hope that they provide you with inspiration and that you'll be able to take something away from this talk. The first defining moment I'd like to share with you came a little bit later. Now, it happened to me about this time last year, and I was speaking to one of the new designers at Lego, and he was saying to me, "John, I can't believe it. In my interview, I was told that I'd be playing with Lego, and I'd be building a lot. But I kind of, I took it with a pinch of salt. I thought I'd be building, but then there'd be loads of tedious, sketching and all kinds of other stuff, paperwork on the side. But for the past 2 weeks, I've been sitting at my desk, and every day I've been playing with bricks. It's amazing." And I kind of started thinking about this, and I started thinking about play and how integral it is to my work and to the running of the business as a whole. Now, the philosophy of play kind of resonates throughout Lego, as you might imagine. And since working there, I've really become a strong believer that we don't play enough as adults. There comes a certain time in our lives when work life takes over and playtime takes a backseat. We start to live by a play hard, work hard mentality. There we go. And we feel like we have to earn our playtime. And the length of time that we have to work to earn that playtime seems to get longer and harder every year. We lead 24-hour, high-paced, stressful work lives, and psychological burnouts like this little guy's having really aren't that uncommon. Well, I'm here today to suggest that we change this Victorian schoolmaster saying from work hard, play hard, and I think we should change it to play hard, work better. Yeah? Now, I know what you're thinking. It's all right for him to say, he gets to play with Lego all day. What's he on about? Get a real job. But luckily for me, it's actually backed up by scientific experiments. In 2006, in Utrecht in Holland, an experiment was carried out with employees at a life insurance company where they were allowed to play computer games for up to an hour a day. Now, play lifted stress from them. It recharged, refreshed, and renewed the employee's ability to work much more productively and perhaps more importantly, happily. Does it not make sense that if we are happy in our work, then we're far more likely to work more passionately for that employer? Now, I believe that true play has no boundaries. It's a space where we're able to say or do things that we wouldn't usually do. Derek Sivers on Friday told us how we should embrace failure. Well, play allows us to make those mistakes that can often lead to the creativity that comes when we least expect it. When we play, we're relaxed. How many of you have had that sudden moment of inspiration at night just as you're falling asleep? And you've had to pick up your pen and quickly scribble it down, turn on the bedside light. I mean, that's what play can do for us. Look at Einstein and his eureka moment. So play really has helped me rediscover my inner child. And through working with these bricks, I really feel like I've become a better designer. As a designer, they're a great medium to work with. You can instantly build, share, adapt, evaluate ideas pretty much on the spot. There's no tedious sketching, 3D rendering, foam modeling. The bricks are there for you. All you have to do is build. In fact, it's a strange phenomenon for a lot of designers that first start out at Lego, where for the first few months, we all go through this peculiar, transient, almost mythological phase where everything you look at turns to bricks. In fact, one might come to India, see the Taj Mahal, and it turns into bricks. Okay, so what I do at Lego, I work for Creator, and we make vehicles, houses, and creatures out of standard bricks. Now, my department's faced with the somewhat unique challenge of really reinventing the brick each year in the models that we choose to create. Our challenge is to create something that is constantly new, but forever the same. Take that plane, for example. How do you make a plane that will appeal to children from Germany, France, England, the US, Japan, with all their different cultural diversity, and then reinvent that model each year using the same bricks? It's not an easy task. At the very earliest stage in the design process, we try and get the very people that we're designing for in to help us. We have co-creation sessions with children where I get to show kids stuff that I've made. They can test it, they can give me feedback, and that's so valuable as a designer to really know your end user. And it almost becomes not what we can teach the children with our toys, or the toys that we create. It becomes a case of what the children can teach us. And the place where this message really hits me is when I attend LEGO fan events. Now, these happen across the world. If any of you are LEGO fans out there, you might have been to one. This is from Brickworld in Chicago. And this is a community of 500 LEGO fans get together, and they create this amazing exhibition, which can only be described as falling somewhere between a rock festival and a flower show. And it's really humbling to walk around this, because it really shows me how little I know about what can be done with the brick. And one of the things that I wanted to do to try and get that, embrace that connection with the children and really give them an insight into my job is my team and I, we created a designer's desk section to our website. Now, this is a portal where we can show the children what we're working on. We've got a blog. We give them a bit of an insight into our design process. And not only that, we can learn from them. They can show us their creations, and they can ask us questions on what they want to know about Lego. And so one of the things that we do to answer these questions is to create web tips. And I'd like to show you now just a quick web tip from Simon, who's another member of my team, and he's going to show us, and he's responding to a question from a little boy in Japan who wanted to know how to build dinosaurs better.
Hi, my name's Simon, and I'm a creative lead on Creator. Today we're going to talk about some really cool dinosaur features. Here we have Mr. Diplodocus, Mr. Raptor, and Mr. T-Rex. Here's Mr. T-Rex. You may recognise him from a previous web tip, but he's a little older now, so he's got a bit grey. He's also developed a light in his eye. This is done very simply with the light effects brick. This is triggered with this yellow Technic element on the top of his head. When you press this, it triggers the brick and his eyes light up. He also hasn't been to the dentist recently, and he's missing some teeth. However, as you can see, he's still quite vicious. Here's Mr. Diplodocus. He's a very calm dinosaur, and he eats vegetables. This is why he has rounded teeth. His eyes are also very calm, and this is why we put them in this direction, again using an Erling element. This is Mr. Raptor. As you can see, he differs from Mr. Diplodocus. His teeth are a lot sharper, but also his eyes have been orientated differently to make him look angrier. Oh look, here comes Mr. Diplodocus to eat a tree. Yum 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 yum. What's this? Mr. T-Rex and Mr. Raptor have come to bully him. What? Oh, what a nasty smell! Sorry guys, I have bad wind because of all the pine needles. Come back and play!
So yeah, I'm sure Simon will appreciate your applause when he hears this. So I truly believe that there's so much we can learn from a child's imagination. And a defining moment that happened to me not long after starting at the company really taught me how little I know about the power of a child's mind. This real defining moment that I'm about to share with you also showed me how true beauty can often lie with the simplest of things. When I started at LEGO, like every young graduate fresh out of uni, my mind was filled with ideas for big change. I'd swatted up on what the trends were for kids, and I'd come to the conclusion that they were all techno freaks. Born into a world of touchscreen gaming, instant messaging, and online social networks, they were the I generation, and they needed technology to stimulate their senses. Unfortunately for me, however, when I joined LEGO, they'd just been through a crisis, and they were in the process of restabilizing the business. The designers that had been there before me had been chasing the technology-driven kids with these crazy ideas, and they'd really lost sight of what LEGO is all about, the simplicity of the brick. So what was happening was focus was being taken away from technology, and LEGO was going back to the core, when in fact what I wanted to do was the exact opposite. So my defining moment came a few weeks later, and I was at a kids test for the up-and-coming Exoforce range. Now, the designers that had been working on this test had developed a range of models to show the children, and they were about to be voted for by the kids. And they'd spent a really long time, like months and months, working on this one model. And they'd developed this special motor, and they'd made this one model so that it could walk a certain distance on its own. Now, like them, I was really hoping that this was going to win the test and it was going to become a product, because I thought it was really cool. But unfortunately, when we did the test, it actually came last, with no votes whatsoever. Now, we were completely baffled by this, and we quickly asked the kids, why didn't you pick the walking one? And they silenced us with one of the most philosophical quotes I've ever heard. They said to me, "Why would we pick the walking one when we could have one that flies?" And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the true power of a child's imagination. And kids aren't going to change. Children will always be children. Thank you.